Right, we've moved on since yesterday, but I'm going to give you a recap from yesterday. So we were at the church, we went back to town, it was bloody hot yesterday. Well, it's been hot all the time. And we went to a shop and we bought ourselves 3 dark beers and some bilberry juice to go with us vodka. Got back to house and she said, do you want a beer? And I said, oh no, not alcohol. So it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. She said, I don't have alcohol with no beer. Sorry, I don't have beer with no alcohol. And I said, no, just no alcohol, you know, tea, lemonade. She said, you don't want beer? I went, oh, yeah, all right, we'll have some beer. So we had some beer. Anyway, we spent last night, she made us a soup which was equally tasteless as the soup the night before. And she gave us liver, bacon, rice and gherkins. And this quite awful chocolate gâteau, except it had cherries in that were all right. So it was like a black forest gâteau, but a bit sickly creamy, wasn't it? Yeah. But anyway, we ate it. And every time she brought us a beer, she brought us a light beer, even though we'd put our dark beers in her fridge, but she'd never give us any of our beer, did she?
No.
So then this young man came to talk to us, and this was quite unusual because he was Romanian from Bucharest. He was a sushi chef, which I said, I'd never in a million years think of a sushi. I can't even say it, sushi chef from Bucharest, who'd been working in Norway of all places. Anyway, we're right happy to chat with us. He invited us to stay in his empty flat because he's on his holiday, and we pointed out we're not in Bucharest anyway. He was having a barbecue and insisted that we try his meaky sausages, which I decided to make up like a hot dog, and you were like, no, it's not a hot dog, you don't eat it like a hot dog, you have to dip it in your mustard, bite it and put your bread in. So we were demonstrating how to do that, and then we asked the woman, can we have this dark beer please? And she seemed a bit baffled why we wanted to drink our own beer. Anyway, we drank one, and that was it really. We went to bed, didn't we? That was yesterday. So Peter's going to tell you back today.
Alright, hold up. We got up this morning, had breakfast. We stashed some of the breakfast in a little Tupperware box and took some of the bread for later on. We ended up getting a lift to the bus station by the daughter that we thought were about 13, who actually drove us down there in a large Mercedes. She was obviously sort of old enough to drive, and she was like really confident driver. Got the bus, everything went fine. The bus driver was fairly sort of brisk driver. We went up through the mountains. I started feeling a bit queasy, and I thought the woman next to me were going to be sick as well.
Well, she was, because she had a plastic bag out, didn't she?
Well, yeah, but she managed to cope.
She managed to keep it together.
Yeah, so did I. We stopped off a couple of times for breaks on the way there, and we eventually got here.
But it took 5 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 hours.
And we were on the back seat, weren't we?
So I think on the next trip I'm going to take some tablets. So yeah, and we're now in a little sort of back, well I say little, quite a big back street restaurant that's above a market, and we've just ordered some food. So
yeah, we're in a place that we're calling GH, Gura Humorului. We can't say it, so we're calling it GH.
Humorului. Gura Humorului. That's what it's called. So we're going to see some monasteries tomorrow, and we've decided not to travel as far to see the monasteries because basically we've got the best ones really in this vicinity. So we're going to stick with that.
And we booked our accommodation tonight on the internet this morning, and it's very nice.
Yeah,
and it's
good.
costing us £13 a night. Sorry, £16 a night. £8 each basically.
Yeah.
£8 each a night, and it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? So far so good, isn't it?
Right, we've last night when we were talking to you, we are actually filming what we're doing. We're telling you what we're doing. Peter ordered this thing that we thought were going to be like a mixed grill, and it was biggest thing on menu, 750 gram, and it turned out to be cheesy chips with bacon, with tzatziki, and they've made a little happy face with olives and a smiley mouth with red pepper, haven't they? Right, funny. And anyway, we've got up for breakfast this morning. We've gone to like a self-catering, you know, where you go with your tray and they weigh everything. We chose this like sliced potatoes with bacon, sausage, egg, and in a creamy sauce, and we were thinking, oh, it's going to be cheap as chips because we're at bloody self-service, and it was £6, weren't it? Which is here, it's most expensive.
Well, it was 40 odd, wasn't it? Or were it 30 odd?
No, it was 30 for potato stuff, and
Right.
the rest of it drinks. I mean,
Yeah.
a cup of tea were £2. And it weren't black tea, it were fruit tea, and they charged me £4. But they charged me £4 because they put 2 tea bags in it. I didn't ask them for 2 tea bags.
Think about it, they classed the potato dish as moussaka, didn't they?
Well, it was called that. It weren't moussaka, it was their word. It was.
Yeah.
I said moussaka. It was like a mustika or something.
Yeah, which is the same thing, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, we've come to church now.
we've come to church now. I thought you were going to do a big introduction.
I haven't got an introduction. We have no information whatsoever about the Gura Humorului place that we are, because the book doesn't talk about it. It's just that we're stopping here because it's convenient for where we're going.
Yeah, and the church is an absolute belter, isn't it?
Beautiful. I mean, we'll
I'll
show
show you a bit closer, yeah.
detail at painting.
Loads and loads of different murals up and down. The whole place is absolutely covered in it. Like, really detailed.
We saw the church over there, and we actually thought that that was where we were going. In actual fact, that's not the UNESCO protected church, that's a new church. So we come into this courtyard that smells of roses, because they've got lots and lots of roses. And it's £1 in, but it's £2 to use a camera. So I pointed out to the nun that Peter doesn't have a camera, so I'm having to do the videoing and the filming because Peter don't want to lie to a nun because he's a good egg.
This is Janice's camera.
Now I could tell you all the history and depictions of the pictures on the church, but I don't think you'll remember them, so we won't do that.
Decided to do a little bit of filming. We've just come up the tower, and this is the staircase up here. It's like really steep, but it's so narrow, it's ridiculous. When you get up here and everything's very small, if I put my shoulders out under there, they get stuck. And the other thing is, all the boards are wide apart, so you can see down the gap between them. Which is a bit dodgy. As you're walking along, you can see down to all joists and ground. There's mud. It's a lovely area around it. That's the more modern church. There's a lot of places to stay around here, from quite modern places like that through to sort of farmhouses and stuff. That's where we came in. It's a rose-lined walkway to get in. It's the church. A lot of the paintings have gone off this side because the sun probably hits this side most. Very nice. Unfortunately, there's a lot of scaffolding inside. As usual, Jeff will be glad to know. It's not only him.
We're now at the second of our monasteries. This is Voronet Monastery, another UNESCO heritage site which reputedly has the best paintings on the outside of the building, which on this side you can clearly see them. On the other side they're nearly all, the weather's taken them off, so I'll show you a difference. It's quite difficult with the sun and the shade to get the photographs, but like I said, this is a side where the sun doesn't get to it as much, so you can see pretty much all of it. And apparently the blue background is like, we have a navy blue, we have a duck egg blue. This is called Voronet blue, and apparently it's a colour that's known all over the world. Voronet blue. Try and go a sunny bit. If you start at top, it's quite vivid colours, and further down you get where the sun's at it, it gets lighter. I'm just gonna. Oh wait a minute, I've gone too far. This scene, they're chopping Jesus up on his legs with big knives. Peter's just saying it's quite vivid scenes, like, you know, dragging either Jesus or a saint along and by horseback and attacking him with swords. This is the back, and we'll describe inside later because you can't take any pictures or video inside. So you've got this like river of blood or whatever that runs down into hell. I like this bit with Lady on Wales with her octopus. And this bit with all saints, we like that bit. I like these crowded bits. And then you've got this bit with all the monsters taking naked people to hell. I'm guessing that this part with all the animals might be like Noah taking all animals into Ark, I don't know. There's only one of each, not two of each, but... So this is a total contrast between that wall not getting the bad weather and this wall getting the bad weather. And all paintings have disappeared. Peter didn't know that he is now going to explain the inside to you.
You go into sort of like the tower bit at this end, and it's just absolutely covered from top to bottom in pictures about this big by this big of people having their heads cut off, basically. It must be all the saints that had their heads cut off. And then you go into the main sort of body of the church, and again it's just totally covered everywhere in paintings. And then you go into the end bit that goes up into like where the spire is, and it's not just sort of a dome at the top, it's like a multi-angled dome with like an almost inset dome in that dome, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely covered from top to bottom in murals. It's unbelievable.
Every single ledge has got a picture, and there's a lot of them are violent.
Yeah, there's a lot of
people
pretty weird stuff
being tortured and having their heads cut off.
Yeah, there's one that looks like they're blowing some bellows or something like that, which is quite weird, isn't it? So
yeah,
but really impressive.
very, very impressive. But we saw this couple go in, they made a donation, they kissed everything in sight, and then he got his mobile phone out and took some photos.
Yeah.
So
They just laughed and walked off.
The believers break the rules, and here we are, non-believers, and we totally abide by the rules.
Yeah, so we're good eggs, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
on the level crossing.
Right, we've just walked back from the second monastery and we reckon we've walked, just at monastery and back we reckon we walked about 6.5 miles, and we've walked probably an extra 2.5 on top, so I think we're doing about 9 miles, so is it 6 o'clock yet?
This just proves how much Janice is on her holidays. It's 7:05.
Right, well it's 7:05, so it's beer o'clock, so obviously, but we're in I think we're in an Austrian place because they've no Romanian beer. So we've ended up with, I think, German beer, but we're not complaining because it's about 85-90 pence a pint.
This area is, it's got really close links to Austria though. You see a lot of the people walking about with Austrian national dress on, and a lot of the people came from Austria and settled here. So
but we got a history lesson off the lady at our bed and breakfast yesterday. She was saying that about Russians taking parts of Romania as gifts for helping them out in certain wars.
Wars,
yeah. So she explained it to us, but we can't retain all information that's been thrown our way, especially with the amount of beer that Peter likes to drink.